All right. Thank you for joining me on another episode here of Phoenix Rising Live. It's a beautiful day here in the Toronto, Canada area, as you can see in my background. Just kidding, but we are having spring. And that's the topic of today. Just like the seasons of nature, which on this planet we have different seasons depending on what region of the earth you're living on, and it's symbolic of human consciousness. There are obviously other galaxies, universes, parallel realities where there are planetary systems that may not go through the same seasonality that this planet does. There may even be other parallel realities with versions of Earth that do not have the same level of seasonality as this version that you may have experienced in your past. And consider that everything that the planet is experiencing is a reflection of human consciousness, the collective consciousness of the planet overall. So perhaps more than just humanity adding to that, of course. But simultaneously, as human beings, we know ourselves the most out of all the beings here. And we're able to have the greatest level of communication consciously with one another between all the different species and beings on the earth. So why is that relevant? And how does that tap into this idea of seasonality? And how does that tap into the topic of today, the topic that this too shall pass? An idea that I learned many years ago from a mentor of mine, and it has served me well. And more recently, very recently, has come up as a very relevant idea, very relevant teaching, very relevant concept, idea, embodiment to share. Because, of course, the idea here is that it's more than just a concept. It's more than just a belief in the sense that it's nice to know. Great. It's not textbook knowledge we're talking about. We're talking about a way of living, a way of life. And just like the seasons of the planet, our emotions, our beliefs, our thought systems, our experiences shall pass as well, because everything is guaranteed to change. Everything is guaranteed to transform. That is our experience here as a human being. That is our experience on this planet. And why the volatility? Why the seeming conflict? And perhaps you're in a reality now where you're not experiencing it at the same level as others, or the same level that you experienced it in the past. But undoubtedly, it's somewhere in your consciousness, this idea of conflict, whether you're experiencing it or it's merely a past idea. And why is there conflict on the planet? Why are the seasons changing, seemingly bringing about different ailments to certain people, different experiences in their body that may be favorable or unfavorable? Why do animals kill one another? Why is there conflict in the consciousness of humanity? Well, the important thing to understand is that everything is being reflected in nature, which is symbolic, which is a mirror, which is a metaphor of the inner conflict within the human collective consciousness itself. So the reason why we have changing seasons, the reason why we have animals in conflict with one another, the reason why we see nature in conflict with itself at times, is because the collective consciousness is at conflict with itself. So nature is mirroring our own inner experiences collectively. And so the responsibility that we have the opportunity to take ownership of is to say, hey, wait a second. If reality is indeed a mirror of my own higher mind, my own higher consciousness, and I'm simply playing out the themes that I've agreed to play out in order to evolve, to grow, to greater awareness, then why would I perpetuate these things? Why would I perpetuate conflict? Why would I invest my consciousness in a reality that's tied to conflict? And the moment you begin to contemplate the beliefs within yourself, that's the moment you begin to see light at the end of the tunnel, and you recognize that there are realities happening simultaneously that may not be your reality. Just because someone in your environment, someone in your life, someone on the television is experiencing conflict, doesn't mean that has anything to do with your reality. So this too shall pass is simply the idea that whatever's triggering you, whatever you're experiencing, whatever emotions are coming up, right or wrong, good or bad, positive or negative, they will pass through and they will evolve and they will transform. So not only is our physical environment changing and transitioning, and the people in our lives being here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, but our inner thoughts, our inner beliefs, our inner emotions, our inner experience is transitioning all the same. And in fact, the external reality is being manifested from the internal. So knowing that this experience right now shall pass, whatever you're experiencing, maybe it's heavy and dense and depressive, maybe it's super uplifting and positive, whatever the case may be, it will evolve, it will transform. Your natural state is one of peace. Your natural state is akin to being one with God. Being made in the image of God doesn't mean being made in the image of conflict. That's a human endeavor. That's created from misuse of the ego, misuse of the human construct. The human psychology at conflict with itself is not a necessity to life. Perhaps a necessity to our evolution to realize that we don't need it, but our most natural state is balance, peace. Existence itself maintains a positive balance point. It must in order to perpetuate existence. If existence was inherently negative, it would collapse and separate from itself, and none of us would be here. It wouldn't be able to sustain life. So the fact that you're here to any degree, the fact that we've built our civilization on this planet to the degree that we have, despite having built it up and broken it down many times in the past thousands of years, we're approaching a new height, a new realm, a golden age, where we're recognizing this inner conflict is no longer necessary. This outer conflict is no longer necessary. And the external environment will begin to reflect that more and more. First, in your own vicinity, your own family, your friends, your business. But through and through, we'll notice that in broader society, in government, in the economy, in nature itself. Nature over the next 5 to 10 to 20 years and beyond will not have as much conflict within itself. The animal kingdom will transform and change, perhaps. New species will come and old species will leave, but it really doesn't matter because it's simply going to be reflecting back our own consciousness to ourselves. So if you're watching this, it's about preparation, preparing your mind for this transition, letting go of your own inner conflict, knowing that this experience too shall pass, just like the seasons. And perhaps at one point in our future, we will collectively experience a version of Earth where there are no seasons, simply balanced temperatures through the years. Or perhaps if you like seasons, then you'll be living on a version of Earth that has those. So whatever your preference is, whatever's most aligned for you is accessible. And that may sound strange if you're not familiar with the idea of quantum parallel realities and how everything exists here and now. But for those of you familiar with my work and have been to my classes, you've been gaining a glimpse of this, an experience, a state of being that aligns with those preferred versions. And you've been carrying particles of that into this reality, elements of that, attributes of that, characteristics of those heavenly realms into this present realm. And you're noticing the changes, you're noticing the transformations because you are a transformational being. That's your purpose, that's your function, that's what you are. You can't get away from yourself, you simply reveal more and more of it to you as you evolve. That's what this experience is all about. It's not mundane, it's not boring. It's evolutionary. And we're on the cutting edge. And so to participate in this to the fullest extent, it's about knowing that everything changes, knowing that everything transforms, and knowing that this experience, this moment too, right here and now, shall pass. It's not forever. So you don't need to resist it. That's the significance of knowing that this too shall pass, this moment shall pass, this experience shall pass, is that you don't need to resist it. You can simply allow it to move through you. It's not you. It's not part of your identity. Your life up to this point is not your full identity. Maybe an aspect of you, an aspect of your creation. It's not separate from you because it's come from you, but it's not the totality of who you are. The totality of who you are from a conscious perspective is continuing to evolve, continuing to grow. So knowing that this too shall pass, simply allow the vibrations to pass through you. Allow reality to pass through you. Allow it to be a gift that you're receiving and giving simultaneously. There's nothing to hold on to here. You can create that illusionary experience, but that doesn't make it real. Just because you believe something is real doesn't mean it's real. Just because you've been having an experience that seems so real, so vivid. Think about the dreams that you have at night. Does it not seem so vivid and so real in that moment as you're dreaming? And then you awaken and you recognize that wasn't as real as I thought. Still a reflection of your consciousness, still a part of you, but not as real as you once believed while you were in the dream. So as you awaken from this dream, this physical reality dream, you recognize the case is the same. It's not as real as you thought. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying that it's not something to respect and to value and to give 100% of your effort to. Of course it is. It's your experience. Just like if you were playing a video game, would you just give up and let your character die? It's not real. No, you're engaged. It's here to be fun. Let me use complete sentences here as I'm channeling this information. It's here for your enjoyment. Simultaneously, it's here for your growth. It's here to serve a purpose. And that purpose reveals a greater level of joy as you transcend. That's the purpose. So this too shall pass means the experience you're having now shall pass into higher levels of joy and happiness, and freedom, and feeling lighter as you grow, as you evolve in your consciousness. It's all ready here, all of it. All of it is ready for you to experience at the right timing for you. All of it's here and now, but you're awakening to that as a fact. So allow your mind to awaken, allow your heart to expand, allow yourself to receive all these gifts that existence has for you. This is a gift to yourself, this life. It's here to nurture you, support you, empower you to support others on the journey in the way that is inspiring and energizing. What else would be the point? So allow yourself to pass through the emotions of your life, to pass through the experiences effortlessly, joyfully, without resistance. That's a frequency, allowing yourself to live in that reality in that way. That's a frequency, that's a decision, that's a choice. This too shall pass. Define what that means for you and why is it relevant for your life. Embody it, accept it, welcome it into your consciousness, into your being, into your cells. Allow every cell to harmonize with this frequency and move forward in your life with grace and ease and happiness and flow and total awareness of who you truly are. So thank you for joining me for this transmission. I appreciate you. I love you. Why? Because you're all a reflection of me, and I'm a reflection of you. And self-love is what allows life to flourish. It's what allows life to grow. We've seen this in science. The idea of the water experiment, where water is frozen after being spoken to or labeled, and we've seen that. So no doubt there's been other experiments of a similar nature. We already know that what you put out is what you get back. And the loving vibrations bring back beauty, perfection, harmony, balance, peace. What do you choose? This too shall pass. I love you. Join me again this evening at 8 p.m. I'll be sharing another episode, another transmission of Phoenix Rising Live. I appreciate you all. And of course, register for my masterclass, phoenixrisingmasterclass.com. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You will transform. You will witness the change in your life because you are a transformational being. I look forward to seeing you there and on the next episode. Bye for now.